Well, welcome back, folks. Today is a very interesting video today. Not that any of this is any more interesting or entertaining than it ever is. But today, we have no power. And I want to talk about contingency plans a little bit. Some folks may accuse me of being a little too prepared. Being a prepper or a military guy, something like that. I'm just a Boy Scout. I was just prepared. So, preface this. We knew about this power outage. We're getting some electrical work upgraded. The house is from the 70s. Grandma and Grandpa owned it ever since it was built in the 70s. And Grandpa was a MacGyver of sorts. And when I say that, I mean, well, for example, he hooked up a 60 amp breaker for, what's that for? Let's just say a generator hookup in the garage. Well, that wasn't the only thing that was on that 60 amp breaker. He also had a 12 gauge wire on that 60 amp breaker, and if you know anything about wire, you shouldn't, or electrical, you shouldn't connect two to one breaker, and especially shouldn't connect a 12 gauge wire to a 60 amp breaker. So we're going to just be discussing that a little bit. I'm just taking care of some critters here, and once I'm done with these guys, we'll get to the meat and potatoes of the whole deal. Well, I guess I could start in here in the barn and talk about contingency, because this barrel here is kind of a contingency plan. So this barrel is nice to have because I think it's like 125, 150 gallon barrel. And I fill the baby girl's water up every day with it, which is great. You know, I don't have to worry about it. But I don't ever like to let water run completely dry, because what happens if something happens? You know, then you have no other options. So that's why I do some of these things. Like this barrel stays full, or mostly full, I shall say. Kitty food, we always like to have enough kitty food. I never like to run out, because then if something happens and I can't get to the kitty food store to get kitty food, then they'll be very upset with me. Same thing with our animal feed and animal mineral. These two buckets here are the only ones that are full right now. The rest of these are all empty. However, I have 2 buckets of calcium, I think. Maybe not. I don't know. I have to look through all this stuff. I got stuff everywhere at this point. I got some pig mineral, which we definitely need to order. And I got feed in these wagons. You know, some folks might not think it's a contingency plan to have your food readily available, you know, for these critters, but I'd rather have a bucket of food or a boatload of food sitting here, because what happens if I can't get it for a week or 2 weeks? You know, I can at least feed everybody non-mineral mix feed. You know, it's only 14%, so obviously cows, pigs, and chickens, like, they can all require a different percent protein of feed. But in an absolute emergency situation, 14% is not going to kill any of the animals, and 14% is going to keep them all alive, and that's the end goal, right? So let's talk about a few more contingency plans then. You know, I got my 4-wheeler down here. That's a great contingency plan. This thing will do a whole lot. It's like a baby truck, basically, or at least that's the way I use it, because I got myself a wagon over here, and I will maybe do a video about this. I'm not really sure yet, but I plan on doing some firewood today. Yet another contingency plan. So that's why I like to be prepared on the farm. You know, I've got this bed liner so I can put loose feed in it if I desperately needed to, or I could put wood chips or whatever in it, or I've got just this in here that I can chuck big pieces of wood in and be good to go, which I'll probably take that out and take that out, because I don't need the wood and stuff in there, you know, to grab this wood down here. But that's why I think contingency plans are very important. You know, now, yeah, there are some things. I only have 1 cattle trailer, right? That's not very helpful. But there are things like that where I don't think I need 2 cattle trailers. I don't think I need 2 enclosed trailers. You guys know I got 2 trucks, and it's been very convenient because currently one of my trucks is down and I have not had the time to look at it or fix it or do anything. But that's why redundancy backups are very important. You know, I've got 2 chainsaws. Now currently only one works, only one runs, because I got the other one tore apart for something. But you know, I got 2 chainsaws for this purpose. bunch of round bales. I got different ways to water the cows. So you may ask, the big cow water, actually we won't be able to see it through the barn. The big cow water, what am I doing with that since we don't have any power? I have the white barrel, the white tote that usually sits here in front of the barn. I have that up at the house, full of water, running through the garden hose so that the cows still have water because our spring back here is not doing so hot still. Now, yes, like I had said in the beginning of this video, all of this is only because I knew this was going to happen. But that's why it's extremely important to keep stuff like this on hand, available, ready to go, so you know what you're going to do in a mass power outage situation. What if we all lost power for a week? What would I do? You know, I don't have a gas-powered water pump, which I definitely want to get. I just haven't bought one yet. So there are things like that that you can do to help your operation, to make things run as smoothly as possible. So anyhow, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one.